My God, man. 3 inches. I put a ruler to it. This is not 3 inches. I will refer you to the HOA one more time. It's free. Oh, God. Oh, hello, neighbors. Welcome back to another episode of Violent But True Bedtime Stories with me, the First Sergeant. Are you ready for another bedtime story? Hey kids, I wonder who it is. Hey, it's Mr. McBeery. How you doing, my friend?
Someone order some forgetful juice?
I did, and this is one of the neighbors that I don't hate. Mr. McBeery, what do you do in the neighborhood?
I help people escape their bad decisions.
Huh. Well, am I a frequent visitor?
You're
No.
my best customer.
So, Mr. McBeery, what is your plans for the day?
Well, I just got back from delivering some beer to Crystal at the Pink Mist. She didn't have any money, but I got alternate payment.
That's concerning because she took all my money last night.
I might have to go see Doc after this.
Well, let me tell you, that's 4 rounds of antibiotics and perhaps a boar punch.
I'm thinking it might be the whole boar snake.
Oh my goodness. Well, before you head out to the dock, how about a bedtime story?
Is it going to be violent?
It's going to be true and violent.
Oh, here, take one of these.
Mr. McBeery, you're speaking to my heart. Why don't you have a seat and keep your meat hooks off my shit? Our story begins in Spokane, Washington, 1981. 2 loving parents would give birth to a stone-cold killer, Ty Michael Carter. After bouncing back and forth between California and Washington, Carter would end up joining the U.S. Marines as a combat engineer. Never settling, he would serve in Okinawa as an intel bubba, and later as a PMI instructor. After 2 enlistments, he left the Marines in 2002, where he would travel this wonderful country before re-enlisting in the United States Army in 2008. Why would he do that? In May of 2009, this hard-charging marksman turned Cav Scout landed in Afghanistan with the 4th BCT at the infamous Kop Keating in the Kumdish district of Nutstain, Afghanistan. On October 3rd, the Kop would be engaged in what would be known as the Battle of Kemdish. It was just before dawn. Like any other morning on this sordid chunk of land, it was expected to be just another day in the suck. However, shit went south real quick. Just before 6 a.m., the Kop was lit up like an Alabama bowl game. The sneaky little Taliban had managed to take position on high ground above the Kop and unleashed hell upon the soldiers below. Mortars, rockets, and heavy machine guns rained down upon them. Their small contingent of forces, a platoon plus, had reacted quickly, putting well-aimed return fire up the Taliban's ass. In the first 30 minutes of the battle, Carter had been injured. His injuries did not keep him from fighting like a savage against the estimated 300 goat that were trying to overrun the Kop. Throughout the day-long battle, Carter would make several trips across the open Kop to retrieve ammo, supplies, and even additional weapons to resupply the battle position locked in mortal combat. During his multiple trips to resupply his team, he had even provided life-extending first aid to a teammate and carried him 30 meters to safety. Having no regard for his own life and severely injured himself, he had only one thing on his mind. That is one bad dude. But there was a problem. The injured were in need of rescue, and the only radio was on the other side of the Kop with a critically injured teammate who was pinned down. The incoming fire was so intense that surviving the distance would be certain death. The enemy had managed to get so close as to employ the use of hand grenades against the entrenched soldiers. Carter sacked the up. Coordinating with his teammates, he rescued another fallen soldier, the radio, and managed to establish a Kazovac. Now, this son of a bitch managed to walk between a hailstorm of incoming rounds. Rockets and explosions, and he himself injured early in the fight. One would think that he would want to go home with the rest of his guys. Nope. This hard-ass motherfucker stayed in the fight. He and a handful of others stayed to keep the cop from being lost. The battle lasted into the evening before the Taliban had given up on trying to overrun the perimeter. Nearly 2/3 of the men at Cop Keating had been injured or killed. But the cop never fell, and the Taliban was again shown who the real pipe hitters were. Amy David Sorkin, who wrote in The New Yorker, said that 2 reasons were provided by the military on not moving the vulnerable cop to higher ground. One, being that resources had been tasked in the search for that dishonorable, no-good Bo Bergdahl. For his heroism and selflessness above and beyond the call of duty, Carter was awarded the Medal of Honor, one of the 2 hardened ball smashers to receive the medal at the Battle of Kamdish. At all odds, and spitting in the face of death, this will defend. Hey McBeery, what'd you think of that story?
Fantastic. Cheers to him.
Semper Fi. Did you drink all my beer?
No.